When your surface reality starts to become frustrating, that is the beginning of the process of maybe discovering the portal into the awakened state. On the other hand, when your surface reality is pretty nice, even if it does not remain that way for an extended period of time, you typically lack the motivation to discover the more profound aspects of who you are. So why not just take a flight to Paris, indulge in a delicious meal, and take pleasure in a sensory experience? It is possible to purchase any sensory experience. After some time has passed, however, being in your comfort zone will eventually become your discomfort zone. Then, last but not least, there is the prospect of regaining consciousness. This is the difficulty that a great number of people face throughout their lives. Some people have a disposition of resentment, which is the sensation that there is something severely wrong with the world or with their own life when they are confronted with trying circumstances, people who are difficult to deal with, or loss. Sometimes the exact people who are supposed to bring you joy suddenly fail to do so. This can be a very frustrating situation. They inflict unhappiness upon you instead. The situation is comparable to that of the divorce court, where there is an implicit idea that life should unfold wonderfully without anything going wrong. Additionally, to a certain extent, the answer is yes. Life may get less chaotic, particularly when you begin to live more consciously and stop being completely controlled by your ego. Through your reactive behavior, you're starting to become aware of the fact that you are causing unneeded misery for yourself. You have the ability to let go of the burden of causing misery through your narratives, and when you do so, significant portions of that suffering disappear. But difficulties are still present. In spite of the fact that one is cognizant, this does not guarantee that things will always go according to plan. It is still possible to suffer a loss, and you will come into contact with challenging individuals. It's possible that you wish the challenges would go away, but as the well-known French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre once observed, hell is other people. And from what I've seen, the picture of him does not appear to show him in a particularly good mood. Indeed, other people are challenging to deal with. You will experience an incalculable improvement in your life as you grow more awake. But difficulties will still be present. What this does not mean is that you will never again suffer a loss, nor does it mean that things will not occasionally go according to plan. Even if the difficulties are not as severe as they were in the past, they will still be present. Furthermore, if you are no longer complaining that difficulties should not be present, then it is actually acceptable. When you let go of the assumption that challenges, roadblocks, or cancellations shouldn't occur, it becomes much simpler to accept them when they do occur. But exercise caution. It is possible that you will fall back into a state of discontent if you continue to harbor the unconscious assumption that there is something to be concerned about whenever difficulties arise. If difficulties arise, there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. We mature as a result of them. On the other hand, you wouldn't be here if you hadn't confronted your own. For me, I wouldn't be here if I hadn't had to deal with mine. Achieving this stage would not have been possible if we had not faced those hurdles. When we look back on our lives, we can even be thankful for the pain that we have endured because it has brought us to the place that we are right now. The question that needs to be answered is whether or not we choose to turn difficulties into misery when they appear, or whether we choose to just confront them and move on with our lives, taking whatever steps are required or completely accepting them as they are at this moment. When you live your life with greater awareness, you refrain from turning the obstacles that are a part of life, those that are unavoidable, into a source of sorrow. This indicates that they are no longer a factor in your dissatisfying sense of self-identity. Unhappiness is the primary source of identity for a significant number of people, which may come as a surprise to you. They are always seeking for something new to be unhappy about, and they always find something. Something to complain about, something to be upset about. If they are not careful, they will find anything. The phrase, "you become a grievance looking for a cause," is encapsulated in this term. Additionally, you are always able to identify the causes. It is essential that you are aware of the fact that some of you may have already been carrying the weight of an unhappy self for a considerable amount of time, and it is possible that you are only starting to move past it. In this world, there are still millions of people who are carrying the weight of an unpleasant narrative in their heads, which is an unhappy version of themselves. Perhaps you are wondering, why did my life turn out the way it did? My expectations from when I was 20 years old did not come true. Why is that? What caused my marriage to end in divorce? How did I end up losing my job? Why did I achieve success, make millions of dollars, and then lose everything? I worked for 15 years, and then I watched everything I had constructed fall apart. Why did I do that? The realization that you are unintentionally causing misery and increasing the egoic personality through these ideas gives rise to the beginning of the dissolution of these occurrences, despite the fact that they may appear to be extremely distressing. For me, my life is nothing more than a collection of memories, and you start to see that this is not really the right way to say it. I don't think you have a life. The fact that you have a life indicates that you are distinct from it. On the other hand, you are life. There is no such thing as life. You are life. There is no difference between life and consciousness. Even if this does not imply that every form of life is conscious, it does imply that every form of life is, in a sense, a frozen consciousness that manifests itself in a variety of forms. There is a similarity between the table, a rock, or a mineral, and inert mind. One could compare plant life to a liquid awareness. In addition, the mind and thinking, as well as consciousness itself, are comparable to vapor or mist, respectively. It is higher. The one underlying life or consciousness manifests itself in a variety of ways, and all life is a manifestation of that one. Therefore, you are that. The revelation that I am life is a lovely thought. I am consciousness, but I do have a past, even though I don't have a life. Nevertheless, this history does not apply to my life. Memories are the only things that exist in the mind. Things like this are good because they have helped you become more aware of the world around you. All of them, especially the things that are considered to be negative, make perfect sense when you look back on them. They forced you to get out of your sleep. I would appreciate it if you could show your appreciation by liking the video, leaving a comment that says "now" to indicate the level of involvement you have with the content, and sharing this information with someone who could benefit from it if you find it useful. If you are seeking for additional films that will assist you in being a better person, becoming more self-aware, and making true connections with the people around you, then you should subscribe to our channel.